Hello Infiniteers, and welcome back to my recreation of the classic Hidden Worlds toy box by MightyGitis for Disney Infinity 3.0. As you can see, I have made a lot of changes since last time. I've added the town buildings and all of the plants everywhere and all of the decorations, as well as a few additional terrain pieces. And this took a while for me to do, so I did that offline. You didn't need to see me place all of these things. All you really need is to see the end result of what I did. And so let me do a quick flyover and show you the specific pieces that I used and where I placed them. And that'll give you a good look at everything I've done. And if you're following along and building this in your own toy box, feel free to pause the video along the way so that you can copy what you see here. Okay, so as we begin, we'll start on this end of the toy box, and I have moved the start pad to this position. Okay, and then I've placed a bunch of pieces for the forest here. These are out of the plants drawer. They're the first 9 pieces in the plants drawer. All of them are customizable plant clusters. And you can notice where I've placed them and the orientation. For example, the little sprig at the bottom of this big tree is facing that way, but on this one it's facing this way. And that's necessary if you want to copy what I've done precisely. Okay, as long as you get pieces in the ballpark, I mean, you can change these things around however you want. But let me try to give you a good look at the different pieces that I've used and where they are, so that you can try to recreate what I've got as closely as possible. And I'll try to spin the camera around to give you a really good look at these trees. I've got a little campsite here. I'll get back to that in a moment. I want you to see where these are at, right near the slope here. And again, you can pause the video along the way so that you can see exactly what I placed and where. On this little thing, you can kind of look at where that red flower is to see which way I oriented that piece. And the little purple flower on the corner of that one. Alright, so that's most of everything for the forest. Up here against the mountains, we've got a few other pieces that we've placed along here, like you see. And try to give you a good look at all of these. It's a little bit tight quarters here between the building and the mountain, but you can kind of get a good look at what I've got. And then over here along the side of the Snuggly Duckling, and those trees there. I'm looking at the trees right now. Okay. Alright, so now let's go back and look at a few of the other details. So here in this little clearing in the woods, I've placed this fire pit. This is out of the Building Sets Group 1, the Ewok Village bonfire. This is out of the decorations drawer. It's the tent. You find that with the Lone Ranger decorations. Oh, there's a little locator. I've already done some work with the logic, but I tried to take all that out before I ran the video. Over here, in the valley, let's go ahead and look at these. And then up here on the cliff slope, we have a few other pieces there too. Okay, coming around over here at the Snuggly Duckling, we've got, can't remember if I put this in ahead of time when we built the Snuggly Duckling or not, but these are the pieces for the lights out front. I like how that's cobbled together. Just kind of matches the thing. Over here I have added this little piece. Oh, yep, I forgot to take my button out. We're going to talk about the logic controls next time. But this is out of the terrain category. It's the corner block with step ramp. And right next to it, in that same drawer, is this thing. Which, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. The exact orientation of the tree there doesn't really matter, but... And then we got another one over here, and that just helps make it so that the shoreline isn't quite so square. Okay? And then going out along the edge of the toy box here, we have a few other pieces that we've added. Okay, so that takes care of all of those. And then we put another one of these lanterns here, like the one over at the Snuggly Duckling. These two lanterns by the bridge are from the decorations drawer. They're the Pirates Street Lamp 2. I got one on either side of the bridge. These railings are out of the plants drawer. They're the Asgardian foliage railing. And I got two on either side, and notice the bounding box and how it's oriented. We'll get to the town in a minute. Over here I've added some of these rocks out of the decorations drawer. They're the Dunbrock rocks. Put another one there. And I think that's it. Everything else that was over here previously. So that's all the decorations for this side of the water. Inside the Snuggly Duckling, I added a couple other little things. If I can get in here for you to see it. I added in this little drum. This is the Ewok Village short drum from Building Sets Group 1. And I put another chair next to that. Okay. And then everything else in here is the same as it was. I just thought that would add a nice touch. Alright, over at the castle, so we've added in these plant clusters here. This one's over here in that corner. This one over along the side. We've placed this one here. And another one tucked in there, but not up against the castle wall. I left a space. I want to make sure they can get up that rope. In the town square, we have this water fountain out of the decorations drawer. And then I added the buildings around the perimeter. And these are from Building Sets Group 4. They're the Fantasyland pieces. And you can see I kind of mixed things up a little bit, so I used that particular one there. For that building, I used a different one for this building, a different one for this building, and then we added the roof pieces. So there's that piece and that piece that we're using. I added a lean-to on this one, this awning. This one, this particular one here is using the timber frame base. Same thing above, just rotated, and then I put this in front of it. Cottage entry with the straw roof on top. You can kind of see which Fantasyland bases I used. It doesn't really matter which one. If you want to use a different one, that's fine. And then you can see I placed all these flower boxes around it. These are out of Building Sets Group 3. They're from the Main Street USA building pieces. And you can see I added a number of them on the fronts of these homes here. Just adds a nice finishing touch. On this side of that house we have the tall Fantasyland Tower, followed by the cupola. Cupola? I don't know how to pronounce that. But that's what it is. And then a couple of tree pieces, and then another little cottage, and another little tree. And then along the shore, we put down a building here, oriented right along this terrain seam to kind of help hide that a little bit. And then we put some dock pieces around here. And this is the dock from the Pirates pieces in Building Sets Group 4. And you can see I added a number of those down along here, like the screenshot had from the original Hidden Worlds game. And then we added some buildings along the docks. And then some trees. And another tree cluster. For this building, we used this for the base. And then we used this for the second story and to cover up the door, which would look weird floating in midair. I put a balcony on the front of that. And then we have our roof. And then some more trees over here. Okay. Then we get up to the castle, and I have added in these little shrubs to kind of match what we saw in the screenshots from the Hidden Worlds game that I showed you the last couple of episodes. I put a couple of them there, a couple of them there, a couple of Incredible statues from the decorations drawer. I put Mr. Incredible on that side, and over on this side we have Violet. And then a couple more bushes. I don't think I made any changes to the towers, but just in case, I'll give you a quick look at what I've got here. I did add this piece on top of that base, because I felt like this needed to be here, and I forgot to put that in last time. This is the Castle Spire 2 out of Building Sets Group 6, and I put another one back here, which I think I put this one here last time. And then you can see the towers back here and how all of that is positioned. And then up here on the front of the balcony, we put another one of those pirate street lamps. All right, and I think that's everything. So a lot of work, but it's necessary to fill in the details. And now I'm going to come out of the editor, and I'm going to put down the power disk for Rapunzel's Kingdom. I do not want to switch that whole world to my theme. I just want to do the plants. So we're going to come over here, select one of them, go into the styling menu, do a theme all. As soon as we select the tangled terrain, we'll theme all. That will change all of the plant clusters to the tangled theme. And that looks really, really nice. I like the way that looks. Now, if you do not have that power disk, don't worry. What you can do instead is come down, use the toy dispenser. So you're going to drop this, and you're going to, I think, I forget which one it is. But you can go to the Toy Box Tutorials episode that I did on this toy, and it'll tell you which side does the terrain themes and the customization themes. But you're going to use that to get the capsule that will give you the tangled terrain theme. Okay? And once you have it, it's going to theme everything. It's going to theme the roads. It's going to theme all the plants, which is, in this case, what you want. But it's also going to theme all of the terrain, which means you'll have to come back to these pieces and change them back to the dragon's domain, as well as these pieces over here around the valley. You'll have to change those back as well. But that does give you the theme that you need. So the toy dispenser will work for this. Okay, and then the last thing you're going to want to do is come up here to the Matterhorn and put in the rail slide. And what you're going to do is you're going to start by placing this curved rail, followed by the ramp rail, and you're going to put one down, spin it around, and drop the second one, followed by the straight rail. Again, these are out of the platforming toys, and then another curved rail. And when you're all done, that should line up like you see there with this peak. So when you come off of that rail, you should end up right here on the top of that peak. And there you go. That is the build for this toy box. And again, I think I covered everything that's here. If I missed something, let me know in the comments, but I believe we put in all the decorations that were inside in the interior last time. We took care of all of those. We took care of the castle and all the terrain and the snuggly duckling. And so all of that is all done. And with that, the build exercise for this toy box is done. Next time, I will show you how to hook up the logic for finding the hidden objects and for the enemy wave generators. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment before you go to let me know what you think of my recreation of this game world and the improvements that I've made to it. And if you're enjoying the build for this toy box and this series, please like and subscribe for more classic Disney Infinity toy boxes like this. That's all for me today. Have a great weekend.